What's up, vapers? Thanks for checking out Daily Vape TV. My name is Nick, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Profile Unity. Alright guys, so today's random question of the day is, what are you allergic to? To be perfectly honest, I really don't know what I'm allergic to. I've never had a formal allergy test or anything like that, but I will say that something that is in bloom right now is definitely causing me some distress. I have a stuffy nose and an itchy throat, and it's making me sneeze, and it's just a pain in the butt. So I want to hear from you guys. What exactly are you allergic to? Let me know right down there in the comment section below. Alright guys, so today we're going to be taking a look at the Profile Unity RTA, a project by Joel, Mr. Just Right 1, and Brian, the Vapor Chronicles, as well as Wotofo, with a big huge shout out and thank you going to Wotofo for sending this one my way for the purpose of making this video. Since I heard about this project, I was super excited about it after the success of the Profile RTA, and I gotta give Joel a lot of credit here because even though we're on Vape Stew together, he remained very silent about this whole project up until the last minute. So Joel, gotta love you for that, man, and I really love what you're coming out with. Keep doing what you're doing. So taking a quick look online, this device comes in 6 different color options for you to choose from. You've got black, stainless steel, rainbow, gunmetal, gold, and blue. I have the black version, as you can see here, and mine came with a red drip tip, so maybe this is the unofficial Mr. Just Right edition. But with that, this one's going to run you about 40 bucks online, so if you guys want to pick one of these up for yourself, I'll have a link on my website. Link to that will be right down there in the description below. But without any further ado, let's go ahead and dive down to the close-up view and take a better look at this thing. Alright guys, so as you can see, we've got the Profile Unity RTA in its original box, so let's quickly take a look around the packaging, then we'll talk about what's inside. So first and foremost, love the open style display box. However, I feel like they kind of ruined it with having the logos right over the top of the device. If they just moved them off to the side or something like that, just so you could see what the thing looks like without all this stuff in the way, I feel like that would work a lot better at vape shops, but hey, you know what, that's just my opinion. On the top side here, we've got the Profile Unity logo with a cool bit of design behind it. We've got Wotofo, Wotofo.com, and a color indication right there. On the bottom, we've got what the package contains. On this side, we have a UPC and little scratch and check with another color indication. And on the back here, we have the Unity logo, as well as some warnings and that kind of thing, and all the other logos right there, including the OFRF logo for the next mesh that's inside the box, which is really cool to give you. And we'll see that in just a second here. Let's go ahead and take a look at what we get inside the box. Slide off the lid. And first things first, we get the extension glass. So this is your 5mm glass piece that they give you in the box, which is great. And we get the Profile Unity itself, and we'll take a better look at that in just a second here. So let's just put that off to the side. Let's get underneath here if we can. Try not to destroy the box. We got the foam and the cardboard, and we get some tools. So we get the coil wrapping tool, so you basically just bend it over this piece here, and that's what the bend should be for your build deck. And you also have a screwdriver. They give you some cotton strips with the little shoelace things on them. I can never remember what those are called. I'm sure someone's going to comment down in the box below now. We've got a bunch of spare parts, a whole bunch of stuff, including the extension for the glass, for the extended glass there. We've got some extra springs, extra screws, and lots of O-rings. We get the OFRF mesh, which I have used a piece of. As you can see, it's got all the specs right there for you guys, which is awesome. And last but not least, we have a fold-out manual. Some points off for that. We'll knock 5 points off for that. Although they are color graphics, but little tiny print. So you guys know how I feel about all that. Anyways, well, fold that back up, toss it off to the side, and that's what's in the box. Alright guys, let's talk about the specs. First of all, it's a collaboration between Mr. Just Right 1 and the Vapor Chronicles. It's 25mm in diameter. It holds 3.5mm juice standard, or 5mm with the extended glass. It has superior stainless steel construction, a spacious build deck, wide clamp style ceramic support, side secured via hex screws, wide terminals for larger builds or leads, peak insulation, single mesh coil configuration, spring loaded ceramic cotton support, threaded top fill system, which is knurled, bi-level juice port structure, next mesh OFRF triple density mesh coil, adjustable mid airflow with 4 bored holes, vaporization chamber, concentrates flavor, detachable structure, and it comes with a 810 wide bore resin drip tip, and the 510 is spring loaded. Alright guys, so let's take a quick up close look at all the pieces of the Profile Unity, starting off with the drip tip up top here. Now this looks like a standard 810 tip, however, it's not. It's basically like a 510 that's just a little bit chunkier. As you can see here, here, the bore is not super duper wide like a normal 810 tip, and just for size comparison, we've got a normal 810 over here, and you can definitely see the difference in these two tips. But with that, it is the same width, so you can therefore use any 810 tip you want in this top section here. It does have an O-ring, so it holds onto them nicely. I've never had an issue with the tips falling out whatsoever, but even a wider bore tip is not going to help you out because the bore on the chimney section itself, not sure if you guys can see that, is a little bit on the narrower side, so a little bit disappointed in that. We'll talk about that later. The top cap has these knurls on it, which makes it a little bit easier to get on and off. You can see that right there. And on the inside, you can see this big gasket that seals it all up really nicely. And it's kind of the quarter turn, I'm not exactly sure what you would call that, locking system for the top cap section. But with that, it's really nice to tighten down and everything like that. There's really no issues there whatsoever. The fill holes are these little narrow slits on the top of this thing. You can hopefully see those right here and the opposite side there. And they're pretty generously sized. However, you got to really get your nozzle right down in there and make sure nothing spills over this little lip here down into the chamber section. Otherwise, it has the potential to leak. So here on the midsection of the profile unity, you can see the 5 air holes, which are fully adjustable with the airflow control ring, which is around it. And this is very easy to do. All you have to do is just basically turn this barrel section here, and it cuts off each hole one by one. So with that, I wish they would have added a little bit of knurling or something like that on this little midsection here, because sometimes, especially with juice on your fingers, it can be a little bit difficult to turn. But as far as the bottom of this thing goes, you can see the 510 connection right there, and the engravings, Mr. Just Right, TVC, and Profile Unity, and Wotofo right there. So here on the top part of the Profile Unity, you can see the deck alignment tabs right here on the sides, and you can also see the domed inner chamber section, which is really good for flavor. It's going to be a little bit difficult to see because it is black, but I assure you that it is in fact domed. You can also see the airflow coming through the sides as well. Again, not sure if you guys are going to be able to see that, but yeah, the airflow holes just come right through the side to hit that mesh piece in there. So that's pretty much it as far as the middle section is concerned. Let's take a look at the deck. So here's the build deck of the Profile Unity, and as you can see, it looks a little bit crazy right now, but it went through a little bit of trauma getting it out of the top part. But with that, that's kind of the general look of this thing. It definitely looks a little bit weird when you wick it, but I really just want to stress the fact that this thing works really super well. But there you go. You can see the mesh piece going over the top there. It's very, very simple to build this thing. Wicking it can be a bit more challenging, but if you follow the instructional videos that you see online, it's an absolute breeze. And last but not least, we can see the build deck without a coil in it. It's really not that much different than the Profile RTA, except for the fact that it has these 2 big wicking ports right here at the bottom. These are very, very generous in size. Hopefully you guys can see that pretty well. But yeah, it's almost identical. Otherwise, you have the little ceramic piece that's spring-loaded right here. Goes up and down to basically push your cotton up as it breaks in. With that, you got the clamps on the sides, very simple to operate, just normal screws on that one, and that's pretty much it. There's really nothing much else to talk about when it comes to this thing here because, like I said, it's almost identical to the Profile RTA. So that's pretty much all I've got to show you guys in this little close-up section here. Let's go back to the main screen, have a quick vape on this thing, and we'll talk about it some more. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed the close-up section of the video. Now let's talk about my personal thoughts about this device, some pros, some cons, and whether or not it's worth purchasing. Starting off with the pros, my first pro is that the wicking keeps up no problem whatsoever. Now, you just gotta give Brian and Joel a lot of props for this one here because those 2 little wicking holes at the top of this thing just make that much of a difference. I really feel like it's the game changer for this design here, and that's why the wicking can keep up so well even at high wattages. My second pro for this one is that the flavor and vapor production are both excellent. This is kind of like the best of both worlds RTA. On one hand, you have the mesh giving you really excellent flavor, as well as the added surface area and lower resistance, being able to use high wattages, giving you a lot of vapor production. So with this one here, it doesn't matter if you're a flavor chaser or a cloud chaser, this one's going to satisfy pretty much everybody. And my third pro today is that it's super easy to build it. And my third pro today is that it's just as easy to build this thing as it was the And my third pro today is that it's just as easy to build as the Profile RTA, being that they have pretty much the same build deck. All you have to do with this one here is roll the piece of mesh over the included And my third pro today is that it's just as easy to build as the Profile RTA, being that it has pretty much the same build deck. All you have to do with this one here is roll the piece of mesh over the tool they give you in the box, pinch one side, pinch the other, shove a piece of cotton through there, and that's pretty much it. And my fourth and final pro for this device is that it's affordable. Now, this one's only 40 bucks, so it's really not going to break the bank, and you're not going to spend your vape budget all in one go with this device here. So maybe even get two of these things and have them set up completely different with different wattages and different flavors in them, and you're really not going to be hurting too bad at the end of the day. All right, guys, so moving on to the cons, my first con is what I like to call the drip tip fake out. Now, when you look at this tip that comes with this thing, it looks like a standard 810 tip, and in width, it will fit other 810 tips, but in the bore size, it is not. It's more like a 510, which matches the chimney section on the Profile Unity RTA itself, and with that, it's basically just a big fake out because the bore is not any bigger than a standard 510, therefore, you're not getting the amount of airflow that you normally would get out of an 810 standard bore. So with that, I'm just a little bit disappointed that Joel and Brian didn't widen this thing out a little bit just to get a little bit more airflow going through it. And my second con is definitely subjective, but I feel like the extension glass makes this thing a little bit too tall. I personally like using it with the standard glass, although I'm sacrificing a little bit of juice capacity. It just looks a whole lot nicer being a little bit shorter, especially on your kind of smaller devices. This one here is kind of average, and I just like the overall look of this thing. If it was any taller, I think I wouldn't like it very much. And my third con for this one is that the top fill system can get messy. Now, as you saw in the close-ups, the filling channel on this thing is a little skinny channel all the way around the top of the device, and with that, if you have a big fat bottle or a glass stripper or something like that, it can get a little bit messy. You can get juice down inside when you don't want it in there, and when you put the cap down tight, it usually squeezes out any residual juice that's hanging out on the outside of the top cap section, and it can get a little bit messy. It's not something more than just a simple little wipe off, but I would definitely keep a paper towel handy. And my fourth and final con for this device is very much subjective, but I'm just not a fan of the overall aesthetics of it. I really just don't like these kind of channels at the top and bottom. They just don't really do anything for me. Personally, I like a simple, clean look, and I want something that has nice angles to it and maybe some knurling or something like that. Functionality and aesthetics kind of go hand in hand for me. So as far as I'm concerned, yes, these little ridges at the top here definitely add some functionality, being that you can take off your top cap easier, but I'm just really not a big fan of the look. So at the end of the day, is this device worth purchasing? Would I go out of my way to pick one of these up if I didn't get this one in for review? I'm going to say yes to this one, not only for the ease of building, but the flavor. The flavor on this thing is absolutely fantastic, and I feel like at the end of the year, when it comes time to talk about the best of 2019, it's going to be tough to beat the Profile Unity as far as the RTA category is concerned. So with that, if you guys want to try one out for yourself, I'll have links to buy one on my website. Link to that will be right down there in the description below. But that about does it for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe for more videos just like this. Leave your comments down in the box below and check out my social media links right down there in the description. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and as always, vape on.